Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. I was just before we started recording showing you my sleeping kittens on my desk and on my couch. So
Who's
I'm
cute?
surrounded by cute fluff balls right now.
Oh, and it's like I've got George next to me who
Yeah.
kind of like a cat. He's my cute
I
little.
know, I just need to wait for Ziggy to come in and then all three of my fur babies will be in here.
He'll have
They
a
all like to hang out in here. Actually, the other day I had all three pets and two kids all in my office. We're just all hanging out, the whole gang.
That's so good. See, that's why you got that bookshelf behind you, because at some point you're gonna have to have the cats and the kids up at the top, be like, get up, get
Yeah.
your place. There's no room.
I'm slowly accumulating enough books for the shelf and, getting more and more each time I go to the bookstore. So having fun, actually having the ability to buy books. I've held off on buying physical copies of books for so long because they're like both so expensive in New Zealand. And also I didn't have any shelves and we knew we were going to move. So I didn't want to buy like a bunch of heavy books to move. Uh, so now I'm having a lot of fun buying all the pretty things.
Shopping spree.
Yes, which can sometimes be good for your mental health.
It can.
And
I actually am a
tying
huge
it in.
believer in it. Yeah, it's very good. I love going shopping for my mental health. That is for sure. Oh God, I love shopping. But yes, we're doing new things like this whole month. We have decided to start theming our months, and we're doing it in our podcast. We're doing it in our Patreon. So if you want to go deeper on any of the topics we're doing, any of the months, get into our Patreon and come hang out, because we're going to go deeper into our lives that are just for our Patreon members. We have Q&As with them.
We just had
Um,
a really great deep dive Q&A
Good
the
on
other night. That
you.
was so good. We went like really niche into all of these different tactics and things to get people to watch to the end of a video. And I was like, oh, this is so good. And
It
those
is.
recordings exist forever on Patreon too. So don't, if you have FOMO, you can still go watch it.
And we usually, those talks sometimes, like, we try to keep them to about a half an hour because we know everybody's busy. But because we got into a flow talking with this one, it's, you guys,
Yeah.
if you're in Patreon, you've got 1 hour coming your way this week of us talking about how to keep people watching your videos and talking about views. And you're going to want to listen to it because it's
And
worth
how
some
to endear people to you too with your content, like tactics to get people feeling like connected with you as well, which I thought was really interesting, all of the different ways we broke that down. So anyway, go
Yeah.
check that out.
But mental health, we decided to kick off our first episode talking about this. Both AK and I have gone to, like, just wrote down 3 things for us that we know we do, that you could call it like being a part of our, like, arsenal, our toolkit,
Mhm.
what we pull out when we
Daily
need them.
practices for our mental
Yeah.
health. Yeah.
Yeah, things that we kind of, our own red flags, I guess. Like, if something, these are the things that we know that, throw a flag down, there's something going on. Do you want to start with one of your first ones?
Yeah, sure. So we each have like three things we do to like support our mental health as people who are active on social media. And actually even just having some ideas of things that you do for your mental health to help you when like social media is stressful, I feel like is a new concept to a lot of people. Like when they talk about their social media strategies, they don't quite often talk about there's a tiny person. Hold on.
Yeah.
We're recording. Um, sorry, mom life.
Hey, it's
When,
okay. Wife life. Any
yeah,
moment, my husband's going to come through the store and, like, make his surprise co-starring appearance.
but when we talk about social media strategies with authors, most authors, when they talk about their social media strategy, never mention like how they take care of their mental health as a part of that strategy, you
Very
know?
true.
And I would love to see more authors when you say, what's your social media strategy? They say, oh, I post this often on this platform and this is this. And I also do these things to make sure that I, feel good about it and I don't burn myself out.
Yes.
So one of the things that I do is I go for walks. Going for walks is like one of the best things for my mental health, like especially in the sunshine. I'm a very solar powered person. My brain always works best when I've done it. And it doesn't have to be like fasted. I don't consider it exercise, like it's just like going for a walk, thinking something about that repetitive movement, getting some sun on my skin. I always feel better afterwards. And a lot of the things that felt very anxious and overwhelming and too much, by the time I get back, I'm like, okay, I can handle this and I feel a lot better. So having that, putting the phone down time where I just like go for a walk is definitely something that's part of my daily mental health practice.
That's smart. Putting the phone down kind of like leads into my evening practice that I get
Yes.
into, where I put the phone down at a certain point. I usually try to do it at 7, that I'll put it like either across the room or on the coffee table very far away from me. Like it has to be, and I'm not like talking a small coffee table. So I have to like, I can just lean over and grab it. We have a giant coffee table in the middle of the room. I have to actually get up, usually remove a dog from me, move, bend, stretch, grab the phone. Like it is actually a process, which at that time of night I'm wiped. I'm like, do I want to get the phone? Let me think about it. But it makes me think for a minute, like, do I want to get it? I'm trying to keep it away from me. I might glance at it to see if family members have tried to contact me or friends, but I
Mhm.
also have all of my notifications turned off on my phone for everything. So I don't know if someone's DM'd me on any of the things or if I'm being tagged in posts, and I haven't for years. And I love that. I love that I have to
Yeah.
dive into the app to find it. So the phone is almost like just this tempting, tempting devilish little vixen sitting there
Yeah.
sometimes where you're like, oh, I just want to get you and have you. And I find myself doing just the stupid scroll, which is why I keep it
Mhm.
over there. Cause I know even the mindless scroll can add to the overwhelm that we feel
Yes,
and just
definitely.
pile up on top. So that's one of the things that I do. I do that daily. I do that one daily. And I know that I'm better off for it.
Setting a boundary with your
Yeah.
phone.
Big
That's
old
a good one.
boundary.
Let's see. Another thing I do, my second one is I talk to people about how social media affects me on this podcast with our clients, but also just with writing friends. And I feel like being very open and honest with myself and then, accountable to others with it has been really important for me because I think we can all kind of kid ourselves sometimes that like,
Yeah.
oh, well, it shouldn't be that important, or I shouldn't care about this thing, or like this, I should know better than to let these videos I've watched affect me, or this feeling of like FOMO of seeing this other author do something, or my views aren't doing well today. And I know that that's silly, but for some reason I care and I need to talk to people about it,
Yeah.
saying it out loud, giving it a voice, sharing with others, sharing that frustration, letting people know that you're just feeling like some days, you and I talk about this a lot, and too, is like some days and especially some weeks I'll just feel really anxious about social media in general, and I just don't want to film myself and I don't want to post videos of myself, and so I create content ahead of time for those times. But then I'm also very like open talking about the fact that I'm just feeling like everybody hates me and everything's
Yeah.
awful, and I'm just having one of those days, and just even saying it out loud automatically like deflates the power that it has over me, and then I
Yeah.
feel like a lot better to be like, okay, actually, like it's fine and I feel better now. But talking about it, about the way social media makes us feel, I feel like is a very important tool in the mental health toolkit.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. Like, and having like, especially writer friends, people that understand it, I think is so important. So I love our little group that we have because we have a wonderful chat that AK and I are in with a couple of friends, and we're able to land safely into a snug hug if we need
Yeah.
it with them. And it is awesome because we can go in there and let our guard down completely. Like that's, and I know all of us at some point have, and like it's the best feeling when you have that. And attached to that, I can add on one of my other ones being Glenn, who's my husband. I use him, which also he's not to be confused with Allie's Glenn, just FYI.
Yeah.
We got
Well,
many Glens that appear. We've got all the Glens. But if he says something to me, at night. And he even, because we had the business together, the social media and PR firm for so long, he really pays attention because I mean, this man has boundaries and he taught me boundaries around work. I will happily say that. Like I had
I have
terrible boundaries.
touching the keyboard.
Oh, just I love to see the ear. But the boundaries were so important to have around my phone because again, like I find myself picking it up or just wanting to do the scroll. And so if he starts to say like, hey, I've just noticed you being on your phone a little more, maybe at 8 o'clock sometimes or 8:30, he'll
Mm,
be like, didn't you want to like start winding down a little? And I gave him permission years ago to do this. So I was like, if
mhm,
you see me like when, because he also can tell. I mean, he's the closest person sharing my space, so he can tell if I'm
mhm.
starting to spin out. Um, and and then another layer to me is I already suffer from anxiety and I have a disease called Graves' disease, which it is hyperthyroid and it causes anxiety and causes like a spinning out when you get pulled into the thick of it. So if I start adding on with my other fires of life, including social media, I can literally make myself sick, as a lot of us can out there, because stress breaks us down and social media is one of those things. So if I've learned if he says something, I need to rethink it. And you know what? I don't take his when he says it. Again, I gave him permission, but there are times I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this. No, I am fine. I need to do this promo. This person needed this thing.
Mm,
But always I will go back to him and go, yeah, you're right.
yeah.
Oh, you're right. I need to put it down. And then that's usually
Accountability buddy.
very much the accountability buddy. And,
Mhm.
and now we're going away in a week and we'll actually be like trying to try and be like, there is no Wi-Fi where we are going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
New Zealand. So I will be very limited and I can't wait.
Well, that leads very nicely into my third one, which is I give myself like weeks where or even days where I just post like what I call like vacation content. Like I take a vacation from posting, where I'm still creating content, but it's usually like duets or just like 5-second videos or things like that. We put all of this emphasis into like hype mode, right? Where we're posting lots and we're posting a lot of very like well thought out content and a lot of like high energy content. But like that's only for a short the words short burst of time. And then most of the time we kind of have like an even amount, but then I think you need some low times too, where you're doing less and putting less energy into it. And even when you aren't on vacation or don't necessarily like quote unquote need it, I think it's good to have times where you're like, I'm just gonna post duets of videos I find funny today. Like that's all I'm going to do. I'm giving myself like a timeout from creating like just even putting mental energy into thinking of content, like I'm not going to spend any time thinking about this week. I'm
Yes.
going to just like basically take it off and just post funny things that make me
Yeah.
laugh.
It
Yeah.
feels good to do that because when you're doing it just for yourself, you kind of find that joy and happiness again. And I think that's
Mhm.
because I will find that when I take breaks, like you're talking about, because I've been kind of in a self-imposed one for a little bit of time now, but as I've got a release coming up in April, I just find like, okay, I need to get back into my groove. I've got some promotions going on and I'm starting to miss being a part of the community. And I just noticed this week, I've missed the community a lot. So I've been still dipping into like DM and comment on people's stuff. But as far as like creating content, I will say this is the first week since Christmas for me that I was like, I've gotten excited and gone, I can't
Mhm.
wait. I've got some fun content ideas and I'm starting to feel like I'm ready to prep content again, where for a while
Yeah.
I've just been like, I just don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
But
if you're feeling like overwhelmed and just like it's not you can't think of anything to post, it's okay to not, like because
walk
I think we
away.
all just are like, I need to post something, and then it just turns into this like heavier and heavier weight. And so that's why I do these phases of just posting something that I think is funny that I don't think anybody's gonna see,
Yeah.
because it's just fun and it doesn't matter and just kind of low stakes
And
content.
when I haven't forgotten, I have to give my third thingy, but
Yes.
when we post that post because we think we want to, it's what I call the unfortunate post. You've now just done the unfortunate post because you've thrown something up that you're not happy about. You've shown up halfway for, or something that's going to be the post that's going to go viral, that's going to then crush you, or whatever it is. Like, if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. And listen to what AK just said. Don't post then. You can step away, take a breath, come back later.
From the TikTok.
But
So what is your third one?
Mornings. I don't get on my phone in the mornings. I've always been a morning phone person. Get up, open it up. I want to see, especially being in New Zealand and having all of my family back in the States, and my like close friends from forever ago. I want to catch up with them and to be available. But what's happened, and I'm going to give another shout out for Becca Syme. I have number 2 input. So if you are a Becca Syme follower, you're going to understand that means that my brain wants to suck in all the information. I want to take it all in and take it all in as fast as I can. So I can end up dipping into TikTok, Facebook, any of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Twitter, which I hate with a passion. I can dip into any of them and get sucked in and stuck there easily for an hour. And then my day has gone sideways because I haven't started it the way I wanted to. What I've been doing for the last few weeks is getting up, keeping that phone off completely. Like when I have it in airplane mode, starting usually at nighttime when I'm going to bed, and I keep it there until after I've written for at least 2 Pomodoro sessions. So I get up, make coffee, I'll pet the dogs, have a bite to eat, and then I go right in my office and write for a little bit. Like that's my
I like that.
Yeah.
And then you set up the day in a really positive way. Like, I've already gotten some work done. You're already feeling like you've achieved some things.
Then it's a treat, because then it's like, okay, if I get this done, then I've got time. And so at that point, I've kind of kicked in my routine for the day. So then it's like, all right, say by 9 o'clock, I'm done with writing this stuff, then great. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to probably go make a cup of tea or another cup of coffee. And that's usually when I'll go, what's happening on TikTok? What's happening on Instagram? And I kind of do the quick run through. But at that point, my day is started. So I'm like, okay, great, cool. That's there. I can come back to it later. I've got other things to do on my to-do list. But I just don't engage with social media first thing in the morning, because it's the power of that algorithm. Every one of those apps, and we have talked about this, we have beaten this horse to the ground. They want to keep us on there, and they can get you. They can get you and keep you.
Yeah. And it would be a fun experiment for people listening too, to like see what's the first video when they open the app. Like what's the thing that's getting the ball rolling, for them.
Yeah.
What does TikTok think, or Instagram think, or all of the different platforms think is the thing that's going to keep you around? The first 3 videos,
Yeah, what are those? Take a look at what they are. But
that'd be interesting.
We'd love to hear. I think for the question of the week, we should definitely, gosh, I've got scratches all over my arm. That's from our dogs. But our question of the week should probably be, if you're listening, we want to know, like, how do you
first content you see? Yeah,
like, what is it? What are you seeing? And also, like, how do you handle social media moments when you need a break? Like, what do you do?
What are some of your mental health daily things that you do to take care of yourself and make sure that you're not burning yourself out on social media?
Yeah, and extra points.
Play with a pet. Is it?
Yes, play with your pets. Always.
Go for a walk. Hang out with family members. Drink more water. All of those things.
So many good things. So many good things.
Yes.
That is us for the week. We are done.
Yes. And we'll be back next week with more mental health and social media conversations.
We will. Actually, and I think too, should we tease next week's episode? Because we already know what it's going to be. We can tease it.
Okay.
Tease it here.
Go on, Anne. Do some teasing.
Tease it. Come back next week, you guys, because we're going to be talking about stitches and duets and using them when you've got these low days, and why, how to do it. So please, please, please come back. We would love to have you
How to make content when you're not feeling like making content.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.